guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Crafty Kathy. I'm the owner and creator of Kit's Vintage Farmhouse in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I'm so happy and thankful that you stopped in to craft and spend some time with me today. Guys, this week I went to the Dollar Tree and I grabbed a bunch of those little mini wood pallets, and that's what we're going to work with today. I hope you like these, and let's jump in. For the first DIY, we're only going to need one of these wood pallets. Now, these, of course, like I said, are from the Dollar Tree. On the back, they just say wood pallet. And we're also going to use two of these wooden hoops. But keep in mind, you have options. It doesn't have to be these wooden hoops. You can use those metal type hoops from the Dollar Tree. There's several different types that you can use. The ones I have say wooden wreath base, and I did find them where all the metal wreath accessories are. So, let's get started. I'm going to use my gel stain by Dixie Belle. It's called Tobacco Road. Now, you can use any type of like the Waverly Antique Wax, whatever you want or whatever you have. Or you can even make up your own stain by just doing brown paint with a little bit of water. The reason why I chose to use this one is because I wanted a dark color, and this is probably the darkest stain that I do have. All I'm doing here is just applying it, and I'm using a paper towel just to kind of wipe off the excess. And I'm also going to go over my two hoops. Now, you'll notice that they're already dark brown, but I just lightly went over them real quick just so that my items would match up. When I went on with this next step, my hoops weren't totally dry. They're made from that MDF, and so it takes them a little bit longer to dry. Now, what you're going to do is place them side by side. You're going to stick a tie wrap or a zip tie, whichever you call it, through here, but don't pull it together tightly yet. Now, what we're going to do is take our little wood pallet and we're going to place this down on the bottom. And you need to see how far out those hoops need to go so that it will line up exactly with your little pallet board. And when you see exactly how far that is, then you can tighten this up. Now, it's all personal preference, but you may want your little pallet board to go upside down in this manner, which it looks okay, but I personally liked mine the other way. So when you find that perfect placement and you tighten up your hoops, you're going to move on to your next step, and that's going to be to grab your wood glue. And I'm just using the kind from Dollar Tree. I really do like this. I normally use the Type Bond Quick and Thick, but to me, this is just as good, and it's a lot cheaper. So what we're going to do is just put one, like a little bit of glue on the four corners, and we're going to just lay that right on the top of our little hoops. Now, on the wood pallet where we added the glue, it will barely touch those hoops. There's not a lot of space there for it to touch because the way that it lays, but it will touch. Now, just to make sure that it's extra secure, I squirted just a little bit of hot glue under each of my corners, and it was literally like a tiny little dot of hot glue, but I found that it was sufficient enough to hold it. And as you're putting your glue on here and adding your hot glue, don't worry, this thing will kind of wobble off from where you had it, and you're like, this is not going to stick. But trust me, when that wood glue dries, it will stick, and it will be plenty enough to hold it. The very last step that we're going to do is take some twine, any type that you have or whatever you prefer. I'm just using the Dollar Tree twine, and we're going to wrap it around the top. I start off by adding a little strip of glue, and then I just start wounding my twine. There's no certain way you have to do this. You can put as much or as little as you want. It's all personal preference. And I just used that little bit of glue when I started winding, and then when I was finished, I put another little strip of glue to hold it and then just cut off the excess. When I finished getting my twine around the top, I did take a lighter and burn off all the little stringies that come off of the jute twine. And I did take different video clips. One is hanging up on the porch of my craft studio, and the other one is inside on the tabletop. For DIY number 2, we're going to be using 2 of the pallet boards, and then we're also going to be using 2 of these little plant swings. They're actually called wall shelf that comes from Dollar Tree. There is a bigger version, which this one's the bigger version, and a smaller version. We're going to take our little pallet board and we are going to flip it around. We're going to put the wood glue on this bottom portion, the little piece that goes horizontal, and I just rubbed mine in with my finger. I felt that it held it better. And we're simply going to take our little plant hanger shelf and we're going to set it right on top of that in the middle. Now it'll stay there while you grab your other pallet board, and you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to put the wood glue on that little bottom portion there that's going horizontal. You're going to rub that in, and then you're going to stick this on the other side of your little plant hanger. And what we're doing is creating a little shelf. Now, I can't take credit for this. I saw something very similar from my buddy Brandy over at the DIY Struggle. I'm going to leave her channel down below and the video that she did this in. I think she used different boards, but I'm a plant girl. I have so many plants. And for the longest time, I've had these little hanging plant swings, or I guess that's what you would call them. And I've been wanting to do something with them besides just sticking the rope through it and hanging it up. And I thought, now this is a great way to utilize these, and it's really cheap, and I can put my plants on it. So we do that at the bottom, and we're going to do that exact same thing at the top. I'm going to add my glue to the parts that goes horizontal. I'm going to rub it in, and then I'm just going to take that other shelf and set it down there. Now, I left mine alone overnight. I did not touch it. That way it would be really nice and dry, and I could not believe how sturdy this little sucker was the next morning. I actually filmed a little clip of the next morning to show you just how sturdy this thing is. Like, it's not going anywhere. I'm going to paint this the color called Bavarian by Folk Art Home Decor. Now, my paint has not been used in literally about 2 years. So it was really thick, and the way that you remedy that is just to add some water, stir it up real good, and shake it. I want my shelf to be distressed and look really rustic. I don't want an all-over perfect coat. And the way that I achieve this is by going kind of heavy in the middle, and as I get to the outer sections, I just kind of briefly brush over it. That way some of that beautiful natural wood kind of shines through, and it really just gives it that all over rustic look. And since my paint was so thick, I just squirted my piece down with a little bit of water as I was brushing over it. I love to use this technique to get that old vintagey look without having to go back and sanding off some of the paint. I'm going to use one of the IOD paint inlays. This one is the Petite Fleur Pink, but they also have the Petite Fleur in the color red. Now, these paint inlays are super easy to use. I remember being so nervous the first time that I ever used one, and I hear so many people say that they're afraid to try them. But don't be afraid to try anything. These turn out beautiful every time, I promise you. What you do is you just go through, cut out the pieces that you want, and then I'm going to show you how to place them on here. The paint inlays are actually paint, and you're just like reactivating that paint. You can do it in different ways. I'm going to use my big top sealer, but you can also do it in paint. Now you go ahead and paint your project whatever color you want it. I did the Bavarian color, and then you're either going to use one more coat of the color Bavarian, or like I did here, use the big top sealer. Now I put way too much sealer. You don't need that much, but you don't want a super thin coat either, because you want it to be wet so that it will reactivate that paint. I took half of that load of sealer that I used and put some of it down on the bottom so we can use it there too. Now what you're going to do is pick up the piece of inlay that you want to put down. You're going to spray it with a misting bottle, and you're just going to place it down where you want it to go. Then you just simply use your fingers, and I always start out from the middle and kind of work your way around the piece to make sure you've got a good connection, and then you just squirt it one more time on the top. That water is going to reactivate that paint and get it to adhere to your piece. You're going to leave it alone and let it dry there. Now they say that when you're using a sealer like I did, you don't want to let it 100% dry. I'm just going to go through here and place down all the rest of my paint inlays. I'm going to do them the exact same way I did that first one. And I am so sorry if you guys can hear my pug snoring in the background, because he's at my feet and he's loud. And while I've got a second here, I just want to welcome you and thank you so much for stopping by my channel and spending a little time to chat and craft with me today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would love for you to do so. We always have room for more, and we always just chat and craft and have a good old time together. And if you are enjoying this content so far, I would love it if you would hit the like button, because that really helps me out on YouTube. Also, when you leave me a comment. If you don't really like leaving a comment, you can always just leave me a heart emoji. That'll help me out too. And I thank you guys so much for every like, every subscribe, and every heart emoji that you send me. And I love for my new subscribers to say hello in the comment section. Now, I am a very impatient crafter, and I don't let mine air dry. I always use my heat gun, and what I do is you just mist it again so it will be wet and easy to peel up, and I very slowly peel away the edges. I start off on one edge just to see if it's coming up yet. Now this is literally right after I put this down, and then I dried it with my little heat gun, and I didn't feel like it was ready yet, so I placed it back down and I squirted it again to get that paint reactivated. I kind of rubbed it back in with my finger, and then I'm going to take that heat gun right away and dry it again. Now I get it when it's about 90% of the way dry, because I did put it in the sealer. So when I get to that point where I feel like it's dry enough, I'm going to grab my little misting water bottle again. I'm going to mist it, and then I'm going to very slowly pull my piece up. Now I'm not going for perfection here. I love the way these paint inlays look, because they already look like they're distressed and like you've used a little bit of sandpaper on them. They're just gorgeous, and they come out beautiful every time. And see, there's really nothing to be afraid of. They're honestly one of the easiest things once you get used to how to do them. I'm going to take the other one here because it just kind of air dried. But when I pulled it down, the very end part didn't appear to have done enough yet. So I just laid it back down, and I'm going to move on to the other. You see, I just mist it and kind of pull it up. And I'm not really looking for perfection here. I want it to look rustic, and I want it to look like somebody has already sanded it. So I just went ahead and went with what I had there. Now, of course, that's all personal preference. The longer you leave it on there and let it get a good hold, the better it's going to do. And you can use these paint inlays up to 3 times, but just know that each time they get a little more like distressed looking, if you will, because there's less paint on there. But they say you can use them up to 3. I've even heard of people using them 4 times. I usually only use mine about 2 times each, and that's it. Then last minute, I decided to go ahead and put just a small something on the side here, just because I felt like it was kind of naked. So I did the same thing, added a little bit of the sealer, the big top sealer, and I placed my little piece down. I wet it with my mister. Then I flipped it over and did the exact same design on the opposite side. I only let the 2 pieces on the side dry maybe to a 50% consistency because I wanted them to look really rustic and like they had really been sanded and distressed. And I think this one turned out to be a gorgeous little plant stand.
She thinks I'm a little lazy. I think she's a little crazy. We like summer and we like spring, watching wrestling and ring. She ain't shy, she speaks her mind, tough as nails and smooth as wine. We burn hot as kerosene, baby, we got our own thing. She ain't skinny and I ain't tall, and that don't bother us at all. I run naked through the yard, she flash every police car.
For our third DIY, we are going to need 4 of the larger sized wood pallets. And all we're going to do is make a beautiful little lantern, or you can use this to like put your florals in, whichever you like. I'm just going to put a little bit of the wood glue down the side in various places. Now, you don't have a lot of surface there for these to stick onto each other, so you just kind of have to be careful here. I did use a tad bit of hot glue also, but don't let your glues touch. Don't let that hot glue touch with the wood glue because it will literally cancel each other out and it won't stick at all. So I'm just placing that glue down the side and I'm holding it together to make one of the end joints. Then I'm going to do that exact same thing, put some more of the wood glue down on each of the sides and place my other pieces together. I decided to do mine in almost like an inside out type formation. And what I mean by that is normally my pallet boards would be flipped around the other way where it's just the smooth pallet boards. But I wanted you to be able to see those little boards that run horizontal also. I just wanted it to have a little bit of something to set it apart from the others. But you do whichever way you like best. I'm taking one of these wood planks. These come in a pack of 6 from Dollar Tree, of course. And I'm going to place one of these right on the very top, which is actually going to be the bottom of our lantern. When we get it glued together, we're going to flip it over. And I'm going to finish this easy project off by using this large piece of lace ribbon. I don't even remember where I got this lace ribbon. I've had it for so long. And I'm going to just kind of glue it right down in the center. And then I'm going to stick one of these burlap stickers right over the top of it. I've had these for a little while. They're from Dollar Tree also, of course. And they're so pretty. And I just haven't used them yet. But this is the perfect project. And I think this is so cute. Our last project of the day is super quick and easy. I'm going to take 3 of these smaller little wood pallets and I'm going to paint them with one of my favorite colors. It's Beadboard, which is by DIY Paint. And by the way, if you want to try out any of these DIY paints or the IOD paint inlays that I showed you earlier, a lot of these really nice products that I use, I get from Milton's daughter, and I leave her information in the comment section and down below so she's easy to find. The owner of this small business, her name is Lori, and she is an angel. She's so sweet, and let her know that Crafty Kathy sent you for 10% off your first order. So I'm just going through these, not trying to get a full coat. I want these to look really rustic and worn like somebody has already ran a sandpaper over them. Now I'm going to use some of this gorgeous decoupage paper that I get from my friend Brandy over at the DIY Struggle. I'll leave her website down below also so that you can go and get you some of this if you want it. Her prices are super affordable, and hello, this is gorgeous. We're going to use these beautiful flowers on the bottom, and I'm just cutting out a little section that I think will cover all 3 of these pieces. Now, there's one thing you got to know about me if you watch my channel. I like to get the prettiest result in the quickest amount of time and the easiest way possible. I love to use just a regular old glue stick to do my decoupage, especially with thinner items like this tissue paper. It sticks perfectly, and if you use this type of glue stick, you can always peel this up if you want to change this later. It's like a win-win situation. Now, I do have a permanent glue stick that I also linked down below. It's from Amazon, and they're really cheap. It's the Elmer's same type as this one is, except for it's a permanent hold. I'm going to lay all 3 of these down together, and I'm going to decoupage them at the same time. I rolled over them with my brayer, and then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and just cut down where each of these ends, and I'm going to pull it off there. Now, I told you that this project was going to be super easy, super quick, and once I have each of the pieces off, I'm just going to use my little finger sander, and I put this in my Amazon link down below also. I just go around and I'm going to sand off all the pieces that I don't want on here, and I'm just going to discard them. When you're sanding off your pieces like this, just use your finger sander in a downward motion away from you so you're not going to pull that tissue paper back up. I went back through with my X-Acto knife and just cut out all the little slats because I thought that that was the easiest and quickest way to do it. And then I just used my little fingernail nail file that I get from the Dollar Tree to kind of sand out all those little areas that are tough to reach. And I went through on each of these and did that exact same thing. Now, these are going to be a nice little set of coasters. I know that coasters usually come in 4, but I honestly only need 3. So this is going to be for my personal home. So that's what I'm going to do is make 3 of them. And you can also give these away as like housewarming gifts. It makes a great housewarming gift. And guys, how beautiful is this tissue paper? It makes these so pretty. Now, all that sanding sure did make a mess, so I run through with my little tabletop vacuum. I love this thing, and I'll link it down below too. You'll find everything that I used linked down below. And even though these coasters are for me, I'm showing you as if I were giving them as a housewarming gift. I take this twine from Dollar Tree and this little bow that I get off of Amazon, and look how cute this is. I would love to receive this. But don't forget to seal this so that when people set their drinks on it, it won't get ruined. And if you stuck with me through this whole video today, I just want to say thank you again. Thank you so much for coming and spending your time with me. and chatting and crafting with me today. I hope that you guys will consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed to my channel already. We would love to have you. Also, if you did enjoy this content, please give me a big thumbs up and leave me a comment. And I have a little surprise here for all you guys that love to look at my pictures. I found a couple pictures of me. The baby picture there is when I was first born. And then up here on the right, I was probably about 4 years old. There's a picture of me holding my daughter when she was 2. And then there on the left is a picture of my daughter with the big bow in her hair and those big huge eyes. And then a picture of my son in my favorite outfit that he ever had, the little railroad outfit. I think my children, of course, are the most beautiful children in the world. Of course, I'm not biased because I'm their mommy. And here in just a moment, I have some more family photos that I want to share with you guys and show you guys something that has really helped me out this summer. But before we go to that, don't forget that my videos are every Monday and Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to take you guys on a little trip with me up the steps. This is my upstairs, and this is leading into my bedroom. This is a hallway that goes into my room and my walk-in closet. The walk-in closet used to be a bedroom and this hallway that we're standing in. So the only heat and air that I have up here is this one vent. Now, we built my bedroom, which is this whole area here, onto the front of the house after we moved in. And it's a pretty good sized bedroom, plus the hallway, plus the walk-in closet. And I have those 3 really large windows in my bedroom, and the sun beats in there all day long. Well, you can imagine in the summertime, it gets pretty hot up here in my bedroom. Costway sent me this 10,000 BTU air conditioner. All you do is plug it up, and it has a little hose that goes out the back of it. And they sent me this little plate so that your air is not going to escape. It fits perfectly. It goes down to 61 degrees. There's a power button. You can turn it on humidity, fan, or cold. It also has an up and down button so you can fix it on whatever you want it to go on. And my favorite part is it has a remote control to it. There's 2 speeds, a low and a high, and it has a timer. This thing has managed to keep the walk-in closet, that hallway, and my large bedroom cold. So what this is going to do is save us from having to buy another unit right now. We were going to buy a whole separate unit that's going to go upstairs for the upstairs portion of our home. So now we can put that off for another couple of months. And I have a coupon code for you guys if you're interested. And while I'm up here, why not show you some of the beautiful pictures of my children? You know I like to brag on them, and that's my son. And as we step out, I'm going to turn around where you can see all my pictures in the hallway, because of course that's why I wanted a hallway right here in my bedroom, so I can stick all my family pictures up, or some of my favorites. One of my favorite pictures that we ever have had taken was this one, when we spent a year in North Carolina. My son was about 12, my daughter was 4. This was my daughter's birth, and this was her when she was little in a pageant. And these pictures were taken at the same time. Now, I have so many pictures of course, my favorite pug, Rascal. He was my first pug I ever had. And I mean, I just have some of my most special pictures on this wall. And there's another one of my sweet Rascal. This is my son's high school graduation picture. His name is Alex, and like I said, I'm not biased at all, but I think my son is the most handsome that I've ever seen. And I have to show you the funniest picture that was ever created was my daughter at 2 years old, and she just happened to throw up peace signs right in time. Now, she has a little bit of mama's personality. Well, let's say she has a lot of mama's personality. And over here behind me, I have some pictures from one of my favorite cruises. My son was probably about 16 in these pictures, and my daughter was probably about 6. And you can tell my son looks just like me, and my daughter looks more like my husband, but she totally has my attitude. So my children have my heart and my soul, and my grandchildren, I mean, I'm like any other grandma and mama. I live for my babies, and wow, I can never brag on them enough. But I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Hey, did you know that if you click on my face right here that you can subscribe to my channel? You sure can if you're on a phone or an iPad, and I would love for you to do that. You can also click on either of these videos, and right here in a second when this one's finished, it'll take you right to that one. I love you guys. God bless you and your families.